Hey there guys, it's Mr. Q, your friendly neighborhood guitar here. Welcome to my ultimate setup. I'm going to be talking to you about that setup right over there, that setup right over there. I've got a setup right behind the camera, and then two more, which you guys are going to decide. So what I wanted to share with you today is how you can go ahead and mount your graphics card vertically in an NZXT S340 Elite case, which in my opinion is the best case hands down because of the price, because of that tempered glass, because basically they've got everything right. That's just my opinion, of course, and I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. If you think that you have one that can beat the S340, let me know. Now, one of the things that you're going to need is this. This is a ribbon riser cable. This is very important because we're going to plug this into the motherboard, and then we're going to have this like that, and of course that's where we're going to put the graphics card in. I selected this because I thought maybe I could get away with mounting the graphics card in a way that just required just a bit of modding, but nothing too elaborate. But at the same time, while doing research, I discovered this. The coolermaster vertical graphics card holder kit. Now I had to order this from the UK because I couldn't find this in the US. I think that this might be a cool tool to use, especially because it's got that bracket and it will support the weight. So let's go take a look at the computer.
So the first thing that we're gonna do is remove this tempered glass. I love the fact that they have this rubberized layer on the thumb screws so we don't scratch the glass too. Alright, so let's remove the glass. Installed in the machine is a 1080 Ti Strix. The first thing we need to do is unplug the cable. Now that they're unplugged, I can go ahead and start removing the graphics card. Of course, you already know how to do this, but make sure that you press on the clips to release it. You see, the thing is, many people have these beautiful looking builds. It's such a shame to have them face anywhere other than the glass, don't you think? I mean, facing downwards? Come on, guys. So this particular riser cable, which I've linked down below by the way, is actually really nice quality and has a nice matte finish. This is great because you don't want it to reflect too much light behind the graphics card and onto the motherboard. Next up, I'm going to remove the SSD tray and plug it in. Initially I was thinking that I would try and screw it into where the holes were for the SSD trays, but there are two issues here. One, it's too close to the glass, and two, I have to have the card much further back anyway to gain access to these ports at the back of the case. And spoiler alert, we're going to need to use some metal cutters, or maybe a Dremel. Just make sure you have something so that we can make sure it all fits well. So let's go for the quick test to get a general idea of placement. One user shared that he didn't use a vertical mounting plate. In fact, all he did was use a riser cable alone. Yes, indeed. And of course, you know those metal clips because you need to cut some parts at the back. All he did was place it on the top slot and use the thumb screws to kind of hold it in place, and with the riser hooked on right below it. Here's a picture of what it looked like. Of course, the option I'm going to recommend is to use the coolermaster vertical graphics card holder kit. That's a mouthful. Let's open it up and let's see what's inside the box. Putting these flaps to the side and elegantly spilling its contents out, we can see that we've got the holder and a nice black design. It's matte black as well. And you'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots for this to fit correctly. This is made specifically for coolermaster cases, but some people have shown off that they could make this work with their cases, and so I wanted to try with the S340. They also give you a riser cable in the kit, but only in the kit version, so make sure you buy the kit version if you want everything. This doesn't come with the bracket-only package. Besides that, we also have some screws. They're standard screws though, and thankfully not a weird size. Now I'm just putting in the thumb screws. These are the ones that came with the slot covers. After putting it all together with those two screws, you can see it's held on pretty well. Now, you can see that there's a little bit of flex, but that's completely normal, and now we can see it all fits really well. You can imagine that you'd put a lot of stress on the case if you used the other method that I shared previously. Now with this right over here, I'm going to plug in my graphics card using the top slot, but you'll notice it'll block the one below it, which is fine for me. Another advantage of going vertical is that I can tuck in the AIO pipes behind the graphics card. It'll make everything look so much more organized. Next up, I'm going to screw in the riser card. I didn't do it earlier because I wanted to make sure I wasn't wasting my time. So let's get on that. I wanted to mention that you need to make sure that the little tooth is facing that direction. If you don't, your graphics card will be facing the motherboard and you won't be able to access the ports, and plus you won't be able to see the fans. It's not good. Maybe that's what you're into. Who am I to judge? But I'm going to go ahead and set it up this way. Next up, we're going to need to take this, align it up, then plug this cable into the motherboard. I wanted to mention something specific to the S340. Typically, this plate would be back here so that we would block the gap in the back. The good news is that this looks like it's going to fit perfectly even with this vertical holder. It's not going to be as easy as slotting it in than doing the cuts, by the way, because you won't have room here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here, line it up as best as possible, go to the back of the computer, make some marks, and then cut. Now that it's aligned, I can see that I need to cut the second, third, and fourth bar, possibly even the fifth. Luckily, I don't need to make any marks because I can use the gap as a guide for how far to cut to. Now we've got everything installed. I think it's going to look really nice. But look at this. We've got a lot of space between the card and the glass. This is going to be great for airflow. I'm sure the temps will be awesome. Let's take a look at the back. As you can see, everything looks fine. The last thing to do is to put that plate to close the gap. It looks like an official NZXT product. NZXT, guys, come on, make one of these. It's the moment of truth, and we got lights. And now the moment your heart beats, and boom, that's what we wanted to see. It's posting. I'll have a special video to show you how to install your own stat screen on any case too. It's easier than you think and perfect with the S340. So that's it, evidence that the coolermaster bracket works with the NZXT case. Time for some beauty shots. Enjoy! Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It really keeps me going. Thank you very much.